My friend said, "You know, I've been thinking about buying a private jet." I laughed. "Sure, and I've been thinking about buying the moon." But he wasn't joking. Apparently, owning a jet doesn't require billionaire status anymore. Turns out there's a whole underground world of affordable private jets. Okay, maybe not buy it with pocket change, affordable, but surprisingly less insane than I expected. So I fell into a rabbit hole, and what I found was weirdly exciting. Let's start with the Embraer Legacy 650E. Now, 25.9 million isn't exactly pocket change, but when you realize that a Gulfstream G550 costs over 60 million, this thing suddenly looks like a steal. It's like buying a Bentley for Toyota money, and it's not some stripped-down sky scooter either. It's powered by not one, but two Rolls-Royce engines. Yes, Rolls-Royce. The same brand that makes cars for rappers is now keeping this jet in the air, and it's not just flying, it's doing it in style. The cabin is split into 3 zones, so you can have a business meeting up front, a nap in the back, and a teenager sulking in the middle. There's Apple TV on board, broadband internet, global phone service, basically everything you need to ignore humanity at 41,000 feet. What makes it even funnier is that this jet comes with a 10-year warranty. Not like those car warranties that disappear the minute you sneeze. This one covers a full decade or 10,000 hours in the air. Whichever comes first. That's unheard of. But let's say 26 million still feels a bit heavy. No problem. Cessna has your back with the Citation Sovereign Plus. For 18 million, you get something that might not be as big, but oh boy, it's fast. This jet takes off like it's late for a job interview, and it's known for handling short runways like a champ, so you can land it almost anywhere, even on those charming airstrips that look more like parking lots with dreams. It's got twin Pratt & Whitney engines, which are basically the LeBron James of jet propulsion. Inside, it's roomy enough for 12 passengers, has internet, and probably better lighting than most New York apartments. And the luggage space. Let's just say you won't be choosing between your golf clubs and your Gucci bags. You can bring both. And your assistant's stuff too, if you're feeling generous. Now, if you're really trying to stretch your dollar, meet the Beechcraft Premier IA. This little rebel sits around the $10 million mark and still manages to act like it's part of the big boys club. It flies at nearly 450 miles an hour, goes over 2,000 nautical miles, and costs around $2,300 per flight hour. That's like the JetBlue of private jets, but with leather seats and no screaming toddlers. It's technically a light jet, but it punches well above its weight. You can seat up to 9 people in there, and it still has room for your baggage, snacks, and existential questions about wealth. It's efficient, low maintenance, and gets you from A to B without throwing a tantrum. Kind of like the golden retriever of airplanes. Now, if you want something a little newer, a little sleeker, the Embraer Phenom 300 might be your vibe. This one's a favorite among private jet nerds, and yes, that's a real thing. It costs about $9.5 million and looks like it belongs in a movie with fast cars and people who don't text back. It cruises at 453 miles per hour, travels more than 2,200 nautical miles, and costs around $2,500 an hour to operate. That's slightly more than the Beechcraft, but it gives off stronger I own a vineyard energy. Inside, the Phenom is clean, modern, and just fancy enough to make you forget you're in a budget jet. You can seat up to 11 people, which is either a party or an HR disaster, depending on who you invite. And thanks to its advanced navigation and safety systems, it's one of the most reliable jets in its class. Basically, this thing was built for people who want to fly far, fast, and feel good doing it. And then, just when you think we've hit the bottom of the price list, out comes the Cessna Citation CJ3 Plus. This one's the underdog, the Maverick. The jet you can fly yourself if you're feeling bold. Yes, it's certified for single pilot operation. That means you can skip the co-pilot and go full Maverick without having to split the snacks. At $8.3 million, it's got over 54 feet of wingspan, Wi-Fi, LED lighting, 14 giant windows, a bathroom, and enough space for 9 passengers and 1,000 pounds of luggage. It may not cross oceans, but it'll get you across continents without a fuss. Plus, it was named Robb Report's Best Light Jet, which means rich people have officially approved it. This one's for the solo flyer, the entrepreneur who likes to fly himself to meetings, the person who reads aircraft manuals for fun and wears pilot sunglasses unironically. It's not the biggest or flashiest, but it does everything right and costs less than some celebrity divorce settlements. Next up, the HondaJet HA420. Yeah, Honda. The same company that made your college car now builds jets, and they didn't just slap wings on a Civic and call it a day. This thing actually looks like a jet, fast, sleek, and futuristic enough to make Iron Man nod in approval. The engines are mounted on top of the wings, which sounds like a design glitch, but apparently makes it fly better and saves fuel. It climbs fast, flies smoother than a TED Talk, and seats 7. Not 7 sardines in a tin can, actual humans with legs and elbows. It costs around $5 million, and I know that doesn't scream cheap, but in the private jet world, that's practically a clearance sale. Flying it costs about $1,800 an hour. That's less than what some people spend on shoes. Not me, obviously. I wear sneakers with holes in them. But if $5 million still sounds spicy, there's the Eclipse 500. This one feels like the introvert of the jet family. It doesn't try to impress you with shiny features or oversized wings. It just gets the job done. Quietly, efficiently, and without drama. The Eclipse looks small because it is small. It can land at tiny airports and sneak into places where big jets would just shake their heads and fly away. It's not built for parties or long-haul trips, but for quick, smart, businessy hops. Kind of like an Uber Black that learned how to fly. Used ones go for about $4.5 million for the pre-owned version, and flying it costs around $1,500 an hour. For that price, you can fly privately and still afford to eat something fancier than microwave noodles. Then I stumbled onto the Cessna Citation Mustang. Sounds like a muscle car, flies like a responsible dad. It doesn't try to outshine anyone, but it's rock solid, reliable, practical, and quietly impressive. Like your friend who wears the same shirt every day but somehow always looks good in it. It's got space for 4 people, a respectable range, and Garmin avionics up front, which, in pilot speak, means the cockpit looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Used models hover around $3.5 million for pre-owned version, and you'll spend about $1,600 an hour to fly it. I mean, at that point, you're basically paying what it costs to drive a luxury SUV, except your SUV can't fly you across states at 340 miles per hour. Not yet, anyway. And just when I thought I had my list down, I met the Cirrus Vision Jet. This one's a wild card. First of all, it only has one engine, which sounds risky but isn't. It's been engineered so well it flies like a dream, and it costs just $2 million. $2 million. That's less than some apartments in New York. Terrible apartments. But still, the Vision Jet isn't trying to be a corporate jet. It's more like the jet for the solo entrepreneur who also flies his own plane on weekends. It even has a whole aircraft parachute, not for emergencies involving you, for the plane. If something goes horribly wrong, the jet literally deploys a parachute and floats to the ground like a $2 million feather. It's got 5 seats, a sleek cockpit, and is probably the only jet on this list where you can say, "I fly it myself," without sounding like you're exaggerating your Tinder bio. And finally, just when I thought I was done, someone mentioned the Falcon 50 EX. I looked it up expecting another shiny toy. What I found was a beast. This thing was born in the 80s, went into hiding, and then came back with upgrades. Kind of like vinyl records. It's big, it's powerful, and it has 3 engines. Most jets don't even bother with 2 good ones, and this guy's out here running a trio like it's a jet-powered boy band. But you can find a pre-owned variant for $2.5 million. That's less than most of the newer, smaller jets. And yet, this thing can fly across oceans. Literally. It's got transatlantic range. New York to London, no sweat. Inside, you've got 2 climate zones, comfy seats for 9. The only catch? Operating costs are higher. It's not shy with fuel. But hey, if you want to cross continents in a jet that looks like it's from a Bond movie, you deal with a little gas money. So after hours of research and more tabs than I'm proud to admit, here's what I realized. You don't need $60 million to fly private. You don't need to be a tech mogul or win the lottery. You just need to be smart, a little bold, and maybe okay with buying something pre-owned. You can get a Cirrus Vision Jet and fly yourself around like a boss with a parachute, or grab an Eclipse 500 and slip into tiny airports like a spy, or ride the Falcon 50 EX across oceans and pretend you're doing secret government work. None of these jets come with a butler or a hot tub, but they do come with freedom, real, high-altitude, cabin pressure-controlled freedom. And the next time someone at a party says, "Private jets are only for billionaires," you can smile and say, "Not really." Then excuse yourself, you've got a jet to catch. If you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next drop from the Flying Engineer. Got a favorite jet from the list? Or one you think we missed? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. Until next time.